Welcome to CharlesGPT YouTube channel, and this my second tutorial on C Sharp, I think. So this time we are going to be diving into some real life projects you can build as a beginner. And today I'll be using just normal if and else statements to build a library of books where you can view details of a book, check if a book is available, borrow a book, and other stuff. Uh, we'll just be using normal if and else statements, so you guys will know some of the basics before we dive into real while loop classes, objects, inheritance, and many other C sharp related things. So quickly just start. So before we start, make sure you subscribe so you can view all of my videos and be part of the ChatGPT team, and so you go find programming. So I'll just wait for you guys to subscribe. Okay, cool. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate that. So we'll just dive in. Firstly, we'll have to declare variables, but we'll not yet assign them. So how I'll show you guys how I like to start with this. So firstly, we just start string for the books. So we'll just do book one. The title of book one will be so it's since it's a string, it will be, let's just name it the Handmaid's Tale. So this is title of book one. So do the same thing. String book one author's name. So this is like book one's author's name. So the author of the book one will be we are still saving it in a string. Don't make sure you don't forget your semicolon though. Margaret Atwood. Okay, so the author is Margaret Atwood. I think this is the spelling of the Atwood. Yeah, Atwood. So we'll save the year of the book. So book one publish publish year. Let's just name it this. So book one publish year will be 1985. 1985. So then we'll use a bool to save book one available if the book one is available. If the book is available, so it will be, let's spell this well. Available. I think there's L. Yeah. Oh God. Okay, yeah. So available. So we'll just set it as true. So the book is available. It's available. So I'll just copy this and just rename it. So we can just save, like, to make this video quick, I'll just save like just three books, I think. I'll just have like three books in my library. We'll still dive in more uh complex practice projects on C Sharp, but this we'll just start with this. So I'll copy and paste because I'm lazy. Then I'll copy. So the three books. So we'll have to change the variable names. So this will be book two, book two, book two. Okay. So this will be book three, book three, book three, book three. Okay. So since we have stored for our first book, this is the information for our first book, and this is the second book. So we'll just name the second book. The title of the second book would be the Lord the Lord of the Rings. I know you guys know this book, The Lord of the Rings. Okay. So then who was the author's name for Lord of the Rings? I think J. R. Tolkien. Okay, so this is the author for Lord of the Rings. Then published date will be 1954, and we'll set it as true. We just have a book that is false that someone maybe have borrowed or something. So we'll name this the War of Words, the War of the Words. Okay, so this is the War of the Words. So the author of the book will be, I don't spell this well. Let's see. Okay, yeah, cool. The War of the Worlds. Okay, so the author of the book will be H.G. Wells, I think. No, yeah, Wells. H.G. Wells. It was published, and the published year will be 1898. Then this book, we'll set it as false. Maybe someone borrowed it and I've not returned it. So we'll set it as false. So we'll dive into our if and else statement. So how I usually start my program of books is we'll say let's just write some things so the user will be aware of what he's entering. So CW, the short form you tap, Console.WriteLine. So you check greetings. Let me just say these greetings, or let me say welcome to Charles GPT library. What what brings you here? What brings you here today? Okay. So we are not yet asking the user for a response. We're just telling him something that we're just telling him something. So we are not asking for any response. So what brings you here today? So we'll do under CW. So we'll save this. Number one will be view details of a specific book. Okay, view details of a specific book, and this is the number one in case it's option number one. So CW tab. This CW tab actually lent it from Free Code Camp. Shout out to Free Code Camp. I forgot to pronounce it. Free Code Camp. I lent it from I think or Traversy. I don't know. I think it's Free Code Camp. But anything, shout out to them. Bro Code, Free Code Camp, and Traversy. Then for the next one, in case the user wants to select like two, then we'll check if a book is available. Okay. So the second one is check if the book is available. And the third one, so we'll make the program not that long, so it won't like take much of our time. So the third one would be borrow a book. Borrow a book if the if avail if I actually forget how to spell available sometimes, but it's fine. Let's just move on. So the next one will be to exit CW tab. To exit. So for the fourth one will be exit. Okay. So let's check it out. So CW tab. Select an option will be like then we'll ask the user to select an option from 1 to 4. Oh, what's wrong? From 1 to 4. Okay. So ask the user to select an option from 1 to 4. I don't know if I should use write for this because I usually use write for my input. So let's just use write for it. Right, okay. So select an option from 1 to 4. Then we save the user's input as let's say int as an int. You can use string actually, but let's just use int. Anything you just do anything though. So you use a menu selection. So I like naming my variables to be very specific so you understand what it does. So we'll save it as int.parse.console.readline. Thanks Kaplan for that. int.parse.console.readline tab. Okay. So we'll store the user's input in this int. Okay, let us run the program to see what we have done so far. Since we have not acquired much, we are still getting a warning here. So it's not error free yet. So let us run the program to see what happens. So if we run it, we'll see. Okay, hold on, it takes time. Okay, hold on. Let me just zoom this a little bit. Okay, welcome to CharlesGPT Library. What brings you here today? Number one, view details of a specific book. Check if a book is available, borrow a book, or exit. So if I just click on one, enter, it does nothing because we have not set it to do anything. So let's just clear it. So we set what we want to do. So then how I usually start my program is I'll write all my if and else statements first. Then if, then under the if, enter, else if. Okay, so you see the if and the else if. So let's just save everything. User menu selection is equals 1. So if user menu selection is equals to 1, it will do something in this line of code, but we're going to leave it blank for now. we'll still do something in line of code though. So I just need to like write all my if and else statements firstly before diving into the sections. So if user selection is one, we'll do something. Then else if user menu selection is equals two, we'll do something else. Then let me just copy this. Then control V. Yeah. So if user selection equals to three, we'll do something else. So another else if control V. So if the user selection is equals to 4, we'll do something else. Then we need our else statement to control the thing in case the user is, let me not say dumb because we are not meant to answer other users. But in case the user don't see what is clear to him, maybe like don't see, choose an option from 1 to 4. So it gives him an output like, hey, do something. So firstly, I like filling in my else statements first. So our else statement would be, let's write something in CW tab. So invalid selection, invalid selection. Uh, Please select from 1, 2, 3, or 4. So select from this in case. Let's test our else statements to begin with. Let's see what happens. So let's see what happens. So let's just start the program again. Okay, let's see what happened. So let's say 4. Sorry, I'm not 4. Like the else statement would be to check if the user give an invalid output. Okay, so let's just say 1 billion. Like what's 1 billion? I said select an option from 1 to 4. So enter. It says, oh, it shows like, I think it's crashed the program. It's too big to contain the int. So let's just run it again. Let's continue. Okay, okay. Let's just start it again. We'll just give normal thing. So let me say 5. 5 is not from 1 to 4. Enter. It's an invalid selection. Please select from 1, 2, 3, or 4. Any of this, any way you want to write it. So let us fill in our if and else statements. So down here, I'll just put console.read line. Let me just tab. Okay. Why I gave it console.readline is because of this. Look, if we run the program now, let me zoom this out. If we run the program like this, so let me say I choose 100. It's not from the options 1 to 4. Click enter. Invalid selection. Please select from 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't give us that normal message that it gives us at the end. So you just wait for the user to press enter again before it exits the program. So that's what the read line is for. It's wait. So I just like keeping it at the end of my program to wait, to make it to like wait before exiting the program. So let's fill in everything. This is our structure. So the structure we're going to be using. If the selection is 1, we'll do something inside the if statement, else if, and stuff like that. So let's fill in the selections. For the if statements, we have so we'll use nested ifs and else statements inside the if and else statement as well. So for the first one, we have if, since the first one is to view to view the details of a specific book. So if the user clicks on the first if statement, we will, okay, let's do CW. We'll ask the user for the book he wants to view the details of. CW, let's ask which of which of the books would you like to view details of? So which of the book would you like to view the details of? Let's not ask them yet. So which of the book would you like to view the details of? Let's then, sorry, okay, then we'll tab. So the first book, sorry, we need this tab. The first book will be The Handmaid's Tale. Then CW tab. The second book would be, you need your double quotes. So the second book would be the Lord of the Rings, then CW tab. The third book would be the War of the Worlds. Then we'll now ask the user for an input to tell the user, let me use write for this, write console.write. So ask the user to select a book, let's say number, so the user will be aware from from 1 to 3 to continue. So when the user clicks on 1, he wants to view details of a book. Then inside the if of the user selection of 1, we will display this. Which of the books would you like to view details of? Then the user tells us the book he likes to view details of, and we will tell him select a book from 1 to 3. Which of this book would you like to view the details of? Then if the user, so since we have asked him for an input, let's just give this so it will be more readable. We'll save the input of the user. Let me save it as an int as well. You can use string to save it as well, but anything, you can do anything you like. So the user details selection equals int.pass.console.readline. Yeah, cool. So this is the user detail selection. So we now use another if statement inside our if statement. So this time around, since the user have, like, we have shown him the books that are in our library. If you say I want to view details of a specific book. Which of the books would you like to view details of? Is it 1, 2, 3? Select a book number from 1, 2, 3 to continue. So then we now check this. If we write another if statement inside our if statement, still inside this our main if statement though. So if user no menu details selection is equals 1, you can change this to string, then you have to use double quotes for the 1, but anything you want to do, just do. So then we'll now say CW tab. So if the user selection is 1, he wants to view the details of the book. So we'll now do this. We'll now say I'm supposed to use like an easy method, the $sign, so we can concatenate the strings together. But since this is a beginner project, I'll just use concatenation instead of interpolation. I'll just use concatenation. So it will be more cool. It won't be more cool though, but just like, you know, so you guys won't get confused. So the title would be, we now call the book one title tab. Yeah, we'll call the book one title plus this concatenation of strings. Then the book one title, let's give a comma right here. Then plus the author would be, we'll give a space. Then we'll call the author book one author. Okay, then we'll add another comma right here. Don't worry about it, program is getting long. So we'll add another comma right here. We are concatenating everything together. Then we'll say publication year. I think before the author, let's give space so it won't look too jam packed. Let's give space here. Okay. Okay, plus then we'll concatenate another thing. We'll concatenate the publication year. Let's give space here. Publication year, the year it was published. So we will give space. Let me move this program like this. Then we'll add again. Then we'll now give the book one publish year. Okay, so this is the details of the book. So we are telling details of the book. We won't come and start saying, oh, the book is not available or something. Let us tell him the normal details, the title, the author, and the publication year. So we'll do it for others as well. Let me just copy this because I'm lazy. Control C, Control C. Okay, so we do it for other else if statements. So else, we'll change this to else if. So else if the user selection is 2, it does this. So we'll give book 1 title will be book 2 title. The author for book 1 will be book 2 author. Then the publish, sorry, let me just go back. The publish year would be book 2 publish year. Okay, so let me just copy this else if, then no need to control C. Then we'll put it, it's still inside our first if statement for if the user choose 1. So control V. So if the selection is now 3, so we do 3, 3, 3. Okay. What's this? Okay. So then we will now control the loop in case the user don't input like a valid answer or something. Let's check for else statements. This video is getting long, but it's for the best. So tab, console tab, we'll now do like, we'll give a message like invalid selection, please select from 1, 2, or 3. So this is for the view details of the book if the user selection is equals to 1. Okay, so let's run the program. Let's see how it goes. Start this. Okay, let me zoom this out. So view details of a book. So 1, let's just choose 1 because we have 1. Which of the books would you like to view detail of? Let's say Lord of the Rings. I like Lord of the Rings, so I'll say 2. Title: The Lord of the Rings. Author: J.R.R. Tolkien, and the published year would be 1954. So this is the description of the book. Then tab, it goes off. So we are done with the if statements for menu 1. I don't know if I can wrap it up. Okay, yeah, you can wrap it up. So this is the if statement for if the user choose to view details of a specific book. This is how we go about it. So they just wrap it up like this, so we can dive into the else statements so it won't look disorganized. So for the second one, if the user wants to check if a book is available, so to check if a book is available, the user would dive into I think I'll need to copy something from the first one to check if a book is available. So let me just copy this, just this, yeah, from the first selection, control C. Okay, so so right there I'll just control V. So which of the books would you like to see if it's available? Let's change this to would you like to see if it's available. I want to spell available. I have to forget this. So 1, 2, 3. So which of the books would you like to see if it's available? So select a number of books from 1 to 3. This is for the second selection for to check if a book is available for these 2. Okay. So we'll save it as user, since we have declared this kind of variable before, let's save it as user available selection. Okay, let's check if the book is available. We'll save it as this. So we'll use our if statement as well again. So if what we're going to do is this. So if the let's create our if statement. It's still inside the second menu selection. If user available selection is equals 1, then we'll do this. If inside the if, we'll do this again. Book 1 available. So we'll call the available. If book 1 is available, we don't need some programmers as a beginner. Some might just say if book 1 available equals true. So, but it's not logical. It still does the same thing as this. No need to say the true, just this. So you now give this. If book 1 available is if book 1 is available, then let's give this. We now say let's just call it book 1. The name of book 1, we'll concatenate it with is available. Oh, available is not getting hard to spell. Okay, so it's available now. Let's just put now here. So if book 1 is available, then it gives is available now. Then else it gives let's do CW tab book 1 title plus this give space is currently not available It's currently not available. So if the user selection is 1, it gives this. So let's use for inside the second else if statement. We'll just let me just copy this right here, Control C, and use it for others. So which book would you like to see if it's available? So if the user's available selection is 1, it does the checks if the book 1 is available, then outputs the availability. So let's use let's Control V again. I hope we're not going to make any mistakes on this. So we'll now be like else if users available selection is equals to, then we check if book 2 is available, then we now output book 2 title is available now, or book 2 title is currently not available. So this is the second one. Then third, for the third book, we now do Control V. So we'll do else if user available selection is equals 3, then we'll now do book 3. We'll check if book 3 is available, which book 3 is set as false. So you see it will give the other else statement, book 3 and book 3. Okay. So then we'll now use an else statement to handle the inputs as usual. We'll now be like invalid CW tab, invalid selection, please select from 1 2, sorry, not dots, 1 2 3. Okay, so this is it. So this is for checking the selection, like for the menu selection 2. If the user's input is 2, so we'll just check the selections. If it's 1, then we'll check if it's available and give out a message. So I told you guys in this program we're going to be using else if statements. Don't worry, I'm going to make it possible. So then let's run it. Let's see how it goes. Let me zoom this out a little bit. So let's say to check if a book is available, we'll hit tab. Which of the book would you like to see if it's available? I like Lord of the Rings. So let me see Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings is available now. Oh, there were two. I think I added too much spaces on this, but it's cool. So let's run it again. Let's see. Since we're not using a while loop, we'll have to keep running it step by step. So I need to make this as beginner friendly as possible. So check if a book is available for 2. Then we'll now be like, let me check for 3. You know, the word of words is not available. So to say the word of the word is currently not available because it's initially set as false. So it says it's not available. You know, so that's it. So we also like the use of the else statement I usually do at the end is for, like, let's say select an option from 1 to 4. I'll be like, okay, let's check if a book is available. So which of the book would you like to see if it's available? Is it 1, 2, or 3? So choose a book number from 1, 2, 3. So if there's a pick 5, then it executes the else statement. Invalid selection, please select from 1, 2, 3. Since we're not using a while loop, it just terminates the program. So we'll go back here. Okay, so our this 2 is done. Our check if a book is available is done. So let's borrow a book. Let's see if we would borrow a book for the next one. So the else if would be if the selection is this, if the selection is 4, then sorry, I mean 3. I said 4. Hold on. So if the selection is 3, I think I'll need to copy the 2 again, this thing. Okay, so let me just copy this right here. Okay, Control C, Control C. Okay, yeah. So for user selection, Control V. So which of the book would you like to borrow? Let's say borrow right here. So which of the book would you like to borrow? Okay. So the first book is The Handmaid's Tale, the second one is The Lord of the Rings, and the third one is The War of the World. So select a book from number 1 to 3 to continue. So we'll not name this available because we have used this for the available section. So use this as borrow selection. So int user borrow selection, we'll save it in an integer. So still inside the third if statement in the menu, user menu selection of the third one, else if. So we now check if we'll firstly check if, let me give space a little bit on this. if let me complete it. Yeah, okay. So if the user borrow selection is equals to 1, then let's do something. Then if the user borrow selection is equals to 1, then inside the borrow selection we'll use another if statement, right? Like this. Okay, so if user borrow selection is equals to 1, we now do if user book 1, because you can't borrow a book that is not available, so we'll check if it's available then. So if user book 1 is available, mean you can do this as well, equals true. I've said it earlier, but it's not it's not professional. So let's just do if book 1 available, then it says it allows the user to borrow the book. So you say uh, you can borrow you can borrow let me say book 1 title. Okay, so if the book is available, then it will tell the user you can borrow the book. So this book 1 title, the name of the book, you can borrow the book. Then it will now let's set the book available, the book 1 availability to equals false. Since they have borrowed the book, it will no more be available again. So this is the for the first if statement. If the user wants to do this, so let's write an else down here. So else, it will say if the book is not available, then it says let's give an output like this. Sorry, book one, book one. Let me add again on this. Book 1 is not, sorry, book 1 is currently borrowed. Okay, so this to handle if the book is borrowed. So if the user said which of the books would you like to borrow, 1, 2, 3. So if the user picks one, it checks if the book is available. If it's available, then it's outputs you can borrow the book and set it to false. But else it just says sorry, the book is currently borrowed. Okay, so now let me copy this and use it for the next one. Control C, because I'm lazy and I don't want the video to be too long and bore you guys up. So let me just do this right here. Hold on. Else if user borrow selection is equals to, then we'll check if book 2 is available and be like, oh yeah, you can borrow the book 2 and set book 2's available equals false. Then else, sorry, book 2 is currently borrowed. Okay, so then for the next one, let me just copy this our else if right here. Control C. Let me just copy it here and paste it here. So if book selection is 3, if you want to borrow the third book, which I know that is not available because we initially set it as false. So if book 3 is available, you say, okay, you can borrow the book and set it as false, but book 3 is not available, so else book 3 is currently borrowed. So then we'll now use our last else statement to check for the user's validating the user's input. Like let's say else then we'll do CW tab Console.WriteLine. So we'll now say we'll be like invalid selection, please choose from 1, 2, 3. Okay, the reason I'm doing this, we are not catching any exception, or we're not using a while loop or something. So I just like using my else statement to tell the user that you entered an invalid selection. So this is the third one for the user menu selection. If the user wants 3, let's run the program. Let's see what happens. The program would be okay. Let me zoom this out a little bit. Okay, so to borrow a book if available, so let's say 3. Which of the book do you like to borrow? I want to borrow Lord of the Rings 2. So the Lord of the Rings to continue. Then if I tab, you can borrow the Lord of the Rings because it's currently available. Because if you see our program right here, we set it as true. So let's see, this one is not available because it's initially as set as false. Let's run the program, let's see what happens. So let me increase this. So 3, borrow a book, borrow a book. So I want to borrow the word of the words is not available. So let's say the word of the words is currently borrowed. So that's the program. So let's handle our last outputs, the last menu selection, which is equals 4. The fourth one would be an output for this tab. So we just tell it to exit. If the user wants to exit the library, we'll be like, thanks for using the library. Thanks for using, sorry, thanks for using the library. Let me see, hope you learned new things. Okay, thanks for using the library. Hope you learned new things. So this is for the fourth selection. If the user selection was the fourth selection. Then this is the end of our program though. Let's test everything. You can see we stored everything. So this book one's information, book two's information, book three. Then we'll output this and we'll check all this. Let's wrap it up so you can see. Let me wrap everything up. So see all the things we did in our program. Let me just wrap it up. Hold on. Okay. So you see welcome. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you see if the user selection is 1, if the user selection is 2, 3, or 4, you see all the things we did inside the code. So if the user selection is 1, see all the things we did. Which of the book don't we view the details of, and things like that. So we did the second one for the else if. For 2, check if it's available before you can, to check for the user to check if the book is available. Then this one is for borrowing the book. The next third selection is for borrowing the book, and the fourth selection, then thanks for using the library. Hope you learned new things. Then for the else, in case the user don't choose from 1, 2, 4. Okay, I'll be posting the code in the comment section below. So, but you can make sure to code along though, or maybe make your own things. But I said in the tutorial that we're going to be using only if else statements and else if statements for projects. Okay, so this is the usefulness of else if and else statements. So let me zoom this out. Let's run the program again. So welcome to our GPT library. What brings you here today? View details of a specific book. Check if a book is available, borrow a book or exit. Okay, let's view details of a specific book. 1. Which of the books would you like to view details of? Lord of the Rings. I like Lord of the Rings. So this is the title, the author, and the publication year for Lord of the Rings. Okay, see this. So let's run it again. Then the next one, let me zoom this out again. So let's say want to check if a book is available. Okay, which book do you want to check? I like Lord of the Rings, but I'll say the War of the Worlds because it's not available. We set it as false. So 3, the War of the Worlds is currently not available. You see that? So okay, so let's just start again. So for the last one, to exit, sorry, borrow a book. I mean, so you say 3, borrow a book if available. So which book do you want to borrow? We have not tried the Handmaid's Tale, so let's borrow the Handmaid's Tale. 1 tab. You can borrow the Handmaid's Tale. That's it. So enter. Okay. So let's exit the if and else statements. So for exit. Thanks for using the library. Hope you learned new things. So that is it. And we use else to not allow our code to crash in case the user don't input from 1, 2, 3, or 4. You understand? So that's a wrap for today for our C# tutorial project tutorial. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. I have more tutorials up my sleeve. If you watched to this extent, I'm very, very grateful for you, and I hope you learned new things. And this is the main use of if and else statements in programming. So make sure you share, forward to your friends, use it, do more by yourself and learn, and make sure you subscribe. And I love you guys so much. So that's it.